I want to welcome everyone to the website tutorial that we have this morning. This is what we call the Asia Europe session. We do have another one of these sessions tonight too. Please only attend one because we got very limited seating and we got various people around the world attending these things. In this 1 hour webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a lot of the tools on the website and want to show you how to use them and translate them into trading. Okay, and the reason why is that our website is not structured for sales and marketing like everyone else. Our website is a trader's tool. Okay, so if you go down that path of creating a website for traders, purely for traders, whether it be for beginning, immediate, advanced, it's not going to be the most friendliest website at all. It's not something you could just sit there, get into, and then start to use right away. You have to kind of know some of the things there, and you kind of have to know some of your strategies moving forward. Okay, if you don't worry. I'll show you the sections where there's some videos that will kind of give you an update on all the strategies and kind of find a strategy / trading plan for yourself. Okay, but and that's kind of one of the reasons why we're holding these webinars every month now, to kind of show people how to take these products and translate them into trades and go for the thought process behind everything. Okay, so let me begin. Before we do anything, we have to go for our normal disclaimer. This is basically to state this is for education use only. We're not soliciting you to buy or sell any particular instrument at all. If you do so, you're doing that at your own risk. All information is owned by EII Capital Group. It cannot be copied or distributed without our written permission. We are broker neutral, so we will flip between different charting / brokerage accounts. So we'll use Thinkorswim, TradeStation, eSignal, and then overseas we pretty much will go into IG Markets, Dukascopy, and other platforms too. Ichimoku is a standard indicator, so you could use that on any charting / brokerage platform. Okay. Now that we got all that out of the way, now when you signed up, if you looked into the details, there was a prerequisite. Okay, the prerequisite was to go to this video section here, and if you see this tutorial here, start here, you should have gone through these videos already. Okay, hopefully you have. Reason why is I'm not going to go through the information that's in here. These videos will explain to you our strategy numbering system. It'll explain to you our email alert system and the RT scanner. Okay, so it explains all the different products, explains everything on the website for you. So you should have gone through those videos and understood them very completely, and you should be ready to ask any questions here. Reason why is I don't want to spend the hour going through the basics of the website. I want to spend an hour of taking the information from the website and showing you how to translate it to trades. Okay, and the reason why is we did this webinar about 2 months ago, and it was more basic stuff, and we don't want to get into that process of repeating it. These are things that you could watch at home at your own leisure time, and they're very great detailed. In fact, these numbering systems here, I actually show you how they translate and work, not just for people that are using Ichimoku, but also people that may be using Fibonacci, Elliott Wave, and so forth. I'll also explain to you the difference between what we're doing now, which is where we're looking more towards wave patterns than sitting there concentrate more on indicators. Okay. Does anyone have any particular questions in mind right now? If you do, please post them in the question thing, and we'll look at that. Okay. But I want to quickly kind of go through some of the basics here. The video section is probably one of the most important things here. This is where we post a lot of our live videos and all that. Tutorial is here. This is where you go if you've never been to the website and you don't know what's going on. Click here, and this will kind of go through all the videos as I mentioned a minute ago. Trade reviews is new. This is something we're putting up now where we're actually sitting there showing you our trades. We're talking about our trades, what happened with them. There are some losing trades in here too, so we'll show you exactly what to do with them. Right now we've got currencies and stocks. We will be posting some future trades too, and even scalping and stuff like that. So these trade reviews here are great learning things for you guys to go through. Workshop videos it pretty much explains whenever I go out and do a webinar or do a live event, I record myself and I post it. This is for accountability, so you can see most of the different events here. You can see the last webinar was here. Okay. Ichimoku videos, that explains what that is. Heat map email alert videos. This video recording will be available in about 1 to 3 business days in this section here. So all you do is click here and it'll be there. Okay. These bi-weekly Forex futures, global markets, these are videos I was doing every 2 weeks that covers all the global markets. We've kind of stopped for about 2 months, but we're going to get ready to start them up before the end of the month again. So these will be every 2 weeks. I really would suggest you go in and look at those, because those have been very valuable for a lot of people. And when I kind of stopped doing them, a lot of people were requesting I start. If you're in Thinkorswim, there's some videos on Thinkorswim and how to set it up. If you're in TradeStation, there's some TradeStation videos, and there's some miscellaneous here. So we are continuously adding more and more videos here. Believe it or not, we've got over 700 plus videos on YouTube. We're just trying to figure out how to organize them in a fashion where it's not confusing for a lot of people. Okay, there's the video section, the product section. These are all the products from downloads, DVDs, and stuff like that. There's our education there. I'm not going to go for that. If you want to see testimonials, you could click here. You could see positive testimonials and even negative testimonials too. If you click in here on the testimonials and keep on going, you could kind of see there's a place we link you to, ripoff.com, and you could kind of see some negative responses from us and our responses back to them. Remember, you're never going to have any scenario where you're going to be able to satisfy everyone. And also with my direct attitude, that's a lot of people don't like that, but it is what it is, you know, as long as we're telling you the truth. Resources, there's a lot of information here I would definitely go into. A couple of things that I would note is that if you want to see a lot of the trades indirectly that I'm taking, or my analysis of the markets on a daily basis, I definitely will hook up to one of these social medias, either Facebook or Twitter. Okay, so those are the two. You could click on it and it'll take you to my Twitter account where you could see everything I'm blogging, and I'll give you a quick example here. So if you click on Twitter here, you could see this trade here. You could see various information here, and then I'm blogging here. You'll see a chart here. There's the E-mini. This is basically the support resistance levels for day trading and stuff like that there. The other great thing I definitely would recommend you do, and this is great for learning, is if you click on this B here, this actually takes you to our blog. In our blog, every week for all the different countries we support, from Australia to the US to currencies to futures and stuff like that, we blog the trades of the week. We also blog a lot of psychology stuff and information out there. So I definitely will look at this. You could see here, I actually started blogging back in April 2007, and you could actually click here and you could kind of see my journey as a trader as I move forward with Ichimoku in here. So if you click on that, you could see it. It's a little slow right now because I got a lot of things running on my system, but these would be charts here that talks about various things from Gann to Fibonacci to Elliott Wave, and you could see my transition as a trader moving forward with Ichimoku. I was trading Ichimoku before 2007, but this is when I first started blogging, was 2007. So you could see the Ichimoku with all these other indicators there, and you could see slowly with time how I kind of removed all the other indicators and slowly just went down the Ichimoku path as I learned more and more about that indicator and what it has to offer. Okay, so I've gone through all the basic stuff. Now what I want to do is I want to concentrate on two different main products that can be used for trading. Okay, now a lot of people get confused between the different products that we have. We kind of streamlined everything now into two products. Before we had three, we now have two. The two products that we have is the RT scanner and the alert inbox. Okay, now I've gone through them in great detail on that Start Here video section, so I'm not going to go for everything in great detail here. So quickly what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the alert inbox. Okay, and in here, let me go to the manage alerts and quickly explain this here. So in here, For the international markets, we support up to 5 major time frames. For the U.S., for the currencies and Forex, we support up to 7 time frames. Okay, and I'll talk about those time frames in a minute. So in here, you could click on how many opportunities you're looking for. So when you look at a 3 here, this is looking for a 3 time frame opportunity. And what the email alerts does is it looks for an Ichimoku strategy on various time frames. Okay, so the 3 would mean that there's a Ichimoku strategy on 3 time frames. A 5 would mean there's a Ichimoku strategy in all the time frames because we support most 5 for international markets. Okay, so if you come here from the U.S. side and you go to U.S. stocks, the U.S. currencies and stuff like that, you notice it goes up to 7. 7 is where basically there is a Ichimoku strategy set up on every time frame out there. Okay, so hopefully that's clear there. If not, you can go to that video. Over here, this kind of checks to see how often you want the website to check and scan for opportunities. So in here, I've set this up to be 60 minutes, and then over here, I set this to be no. This receive emails means, do you physically want to receive the emails? I don't physically want to receive the emails. Reason why is I don't want my Gmail account or Hotmail account flooded with emails at all. So I select this to no. It does not mean you're not going to get emails. What's going to happen is that when you select this to be no, it sends it to a virtual inbox. And these emails are kept on our server for you to access at any time. And I do that, reason why is if that you click on here, click over here, you now have all these emails here, and you have the ability to do filtering in here. So let's say I want to see when the last time I got a 7 time frame buy or sell, okay, and I click on here. This will find for all the markets out there a 7 time frame buy or sell. Let's say I want to look for Apple. When did Apple give me a 7 time frame sell? Well, or buy. The last time Apple gave me a 7 time frame buy or sell signal was back here on 5/28. There was a buy signal here. So by allowing the emails to come into your virtual email box, it gives you the ability to do filtering very easily, and it also doesn't sit there and kill your email box to a point where Google, Gmail may flag you and stop you because you're getting tons of email in a very short amount of time. Okay, and if you click here and they look at the 7 time frame, you click on these, it'll expand it here. Okay, now the biggest complaint we get is a lot of people tell us that, okay, this is a 7 time frame buy, but there's no 7 rows filled in here. That's exactly correct. It does not work that way. You need to go into the video and check. When you have something that's in a box here, right here, like a daily time frame here, this is telling you, this is showing you a trading time frame. So it's telling you the Ichimoku strategy on the daily time frame. But in order for it to be in this box here, it also has to have an Ichimoku strategy in the higher time frame, which we do not display at all. Okay, so we don't display the higher time frame there. The reason why is if you're going to take this trade, we want you to take it off the daily time frame, not the weekly, because the monthly does not have a strategy with it. Okay, and that's why this kind of gets confusing. If what I just told you was still confusing, please go to the video, the start video section, and go to the email alert video, and it'll explain everything in great detail for you. Okay, now what I'm going to do is we have a live market that's going on right now, so I'm going to choose currencies here. I'm going to choose all. Okay. And what I want to explain to you is that this is a different product. This product here is only checking to see if it has an Ichimoku strategy on that particular, on which time frames. It does not check to see if there's a multiple time frame support resistance. That's the biggest confusion a lot of people have been getting on these things. Okay, so if I click here, sorry, the system's a little slow due to GoToMeeting and everything that's going on. Or maybe Internet Explorer is going to die on me. Sorry guys, give me one sec. Okay, doesn't like me today. Let's click on back and see if it'll revive. If not, I'll switch to a different Explorer. Okay, let's just kill this guy and switch to Mozilla. Depending on GoToMeeting, how much resources it takes, this kind of slows down sometimes. Okay, so let's come back in here. Okay, so now we're going back into the email alert box, and we're going to click on here, and you'll see that there's basically a 4 time frame sell right now for the EuroSec instrument. Okay, now in here there's telling you there's a strategy on the 30-minute and 60-minute. Okay, so it's up to you to go in and see if this is a real opportunity or not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this instrument here and start seeing if this is a real opportunity. So I'm going to go down and choose what time frame I want to pick. So if my personality is suited for 30 minutes, I'm going to look at the 30 minutes. My personality is suited for 60 minutes, I'm going to look at the 60 minutes. So I'm going to look at a 30-minute chart here for the EuroSec, and let me pull up. So I'm going to bring in, for now I'm going to use Thinkorswim from TD Ameritrade, and I'm going to bring this instrument here, which is basically EuroSec. And this is basically Euro Swedish krona. Okay, so this is a bearish Ichimoku strategy. Okay, now remember, I'm assuming you know your strategies and everything completely. So if you look here, this closed below the cloud, it's formed a pivot, and now it could pull back. It could pull back to here, or it could break out here. Okay, now that's the daily time frame. The time frame I should be looking at is either 30-minute or so. So this here is probably a little more cleaner for you, and you could see that basically this is pulled back to the yellow line here, held it, and now it's looking to kind of come down. This signal right here was generated, if you look at it, the last one was generated about 17 minutes ago. Let me look at currencies only, so I'm waiting for the website to do that. So here, this is basically looking for, now you could sit there and set this up. Now, if you're looking for a multiple time frame setup, you manually have to do that in the email alert section. The RT scanner will automatically look for MTFs for you, but over here, you have to manually do that. Okay, so in here, I'm looking here, and what I would do next is I would go to the 10-minute, which is one layer below me, and see if it has the same support. It doesn't. Okay, so what happens in this scenario here is that the 30-minute has an Ichimoku strategy, okay, which is right here. Okay, however, if you look, this resistance here does not match any resistance here on a 10-minute. And if you looked at all the webinars and workshops we've done, I always look for these multiple time frame support resistances. And the reason why is that when you have them, it creates a institutional support resistance. When you don't have them, it basically means it's not an institutional support resistance. It's a support resistance for that one time frame, and at that point, it's a low probability. So in this example here, the resistance for the 10-minute is the red line here, the green line here, or the yellow line up here. And it really doesn't match the 30-minute at all. So right now, I have two types of day traders. One is the 10-minute one, and one is the 30-minute one. The 10 minutes and the 30 minutes cover all the day traders out there for people that trade 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and so forth. And now what happens is that by not having the same resistance for the 10-minute and 30-minute, you have the day traders having a discrepancy. So if the day traders in here in the 10-minute, they could sit there and pull back to here and then sit there and come down. But if price ever pulls back to here, which is the 30-minute support, so resistance here, these 10-minute traders are no longer going to be thinking bearish. They're going to think this thing's consolidating, and at that point, they're not going to support the 30-minute day traders at all. So to me, this is a low probability trade where I would not take this trade at all. Okay, and the sole reason why is this support resistances on these resistances on the 30-minute does not match the 10-minute. Everyone okay with that? Is there any questions in regards to that? So even though the email may tell me it's a 5 time frame, 4 time frame email alert, right? All the emails are doing is telling me where there's an Ichimoku strategy. It's not finding the MTS for me. So I manually have to sit there, go through, look at those emails, and check to see if it is. If it is, it's a very high probability trade, and I'm going to put that on. Okay? Everyone okay with that? The second one that came across was about 2 hours ago, was Hong Kong. Actually, let's do this. Let's look at stocks. Let's flip this, and let me look at a stock from the S&P 500, since we got the Fed announcement coming. So here's a yesterday. Here's an announcement here. There was a Costco. Let's look at Costco. And let me show you the email alert so you guys know that I'm not rigging this at all. So here's the email alert. I searched for S&P 500. This was yesterday at 5 p.m. And you could see there's Costco here on a 4 time frame buy or sell. Since it's in the bullish side, it's a buy. Okay, so there's Costco right there. So let me come up here and let's go look at Costco and on a 1 minute. So if you look in Costco here on a 1 minute, it's kind of entered the cloud here and then came back out. Everyone see that? Yes? Okay. Now, in here, this has done this. Okay. Now, what we're looking for, remember, I always look for MTFs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line here, draw a line here, and draw a line at the yellow line. So these are all my supports on the 1 hour. Now I'm going to go down to the lower time frames, which is a 30 minutes, the next one, and I'm going to see which of those support lines from the 60 minutes match a 30 minute. This one does, this one doesn't. So I'm going to remove that and remove that one. So now I got a 30-minute support, which equals a 1 hour support. Okay, then I'm going to sit there and go another level higher. I'm going to go to a 4 hour. Notice the 4 hour here does not completely match right here. So right below price, the red line is down here, it's there and there. Okay, it matches very close to a support in the past, but not now. So if I take this trade, it's not the highest probability of trade. Reason why is what's happened is the 30-minute, the day traders are thinking the same way as a 1 hour. The 1 hour is the smallest time frame for swing trading. Okay, the 4 hours are the highest. So if you look here in this example here, what's happening is the 4 hour pulls back to the red line. I'm going to get stopped out on my 1 hour trade, which I don't like. Okay, so in this example here, this is a aggressive trade if I take it off the 1 hour. And if you look at the daily time frame here, you could see that the support level here for the daily does not match the 1 hour support here at all. You could see the yellow line here and the red line here, and you could see the supports are different. So if the daily decides it wants to go for a pullback and pull back to that yellow line or red line here, that basically means we will get stopped out of the trade on the 1 hour. Everyone okay with that? Okay. So this, to me, is still not a high probability trade. Okay. Now remember, you may be thinking, well, Vinesh is just knocking down all of these trades in here. Yes, I am. Remember, the whole idea of the tools here is to filter out from thousands of instruments worldwide and find you only the opportunities that could be possible opportunities. Doesn't mean that they're ready to go. You still have to take it to the next step and to sit there and validate them. Okay, and a perfect way to validate these multiple time frame email alerts is just to look for MTFs. If you find them, bingo, they're ready to go. If not, you got to wait. Okay. Let me get to some questions. Stephen had a question. Does the scanner give you the levels? Stephen, give me 1 second. I'll get to that level in just a moment. Okay. Give me 1 second. Yeah, 30 minutes. What time is it now? It's 8 o'clock. Oh, you should be fine. Okay. Stephen, I'll get to that question in a minute. Wayne had a question. Would you do the same analysis on a higher time frame alert and the email since there's not a higher time frame probability? There's not. Wait a minute. Would you do the same analysis on a higher time frame alert email since there is no higher probability trade on a 30th? Wayne, I'm not quite getting the last part to your question, but basically my method always is that whenever I get an email alert, I'm always, first thing I'm going to do is check to see if there's MTFs there. Okay, I'm looking for at least 2 zones to have MTF. If I do, that's aggressive trade. If I get all 3, that's a conservative trade in my mind. Everyone okay with that? Okay. It says, can you please check tutorial video 4 emailer? It looks like 5. Okay, RB, I could check that later. I can't check that in the video webinar right now. Is that okay? Okay, so I'll check that. So remember, just because you see something that's a 7 time frame buy or sell does not mean it's ready to go. Okay, you have to sit there and analyze it and so forth. Okay, however, these emails are great in that they tell you where an opportunity that has multiple time frames set up. Why is that critical? Well, if you want a high reward risk ratio, let's say you're taking a trade, you're a 30-minute trader, and on the currency side, a 30-minute average is anywhere from 30 to 60 points. Okay, if you want the ability to make more than 30 to 60 points on a 30-minute, you got to make sure that there's multiple time frame setups. So what can happen is that when a 30-minute trade triggers and it breaks out, the breakout then triggers the 60-minute breakout level, which eventually triggers a 2-hour breakout level, which eventually goes into the daily time frame and so forth. So if your 30-minute trade triggers a higher time frame setup to trigger that trade, now what's happening is that you're accessing the reward from a higher time frame. So now you have the ability to get more than 30 to 60 points, which you would get on average for whatever time frame you're trading. Okay, so this gives me the ability to see how big of my reward path I could get by looking at these. Is everyone okay with that? Okay. Wayne had a question. On a 5 time frame, there are different trading time frames. You start with a 30-minute, not a high probability. Would you analyze any of the higher time frames or move to the next instrument? Yes, Wayne, I would. Okay. And remember, even though this says this is in 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and so forth, doesn't mean that's your trading time frame. You still have to stick to your trading time frame and go and use that one. So if I'm a 4-hour trader, right, I'm looking for over in this section here everything that's in here, and then what's happening is that whenever it's in the lower time frames, that's going to help you from your stop. It's going to help you from stop getting clipped, and the things when it's in the higher time frame boxes, that basically tells you it's opening up the reward for you. Okay, so I still would sit there and stick to your trading time frame. So if I'm a 4-hour trader, or sorry, a 2-hour trader, I'm making sure that I have a strategy in the trading time frame I'm looking at, and then I'm making sure I at least have one it's filled up in one of the day trading side and one on the higher time frame. And if you go to that email alert video, and I'll double check that, I explain that in great detail there. Okay, is that okay, Wayne? Okay. So this is our traditional flagship products. This is probably the most confusing of all the products, but believe it or not, it's a great, great tool if you could learn how to use it very effectively. Okay. A lot of people now concentrate mainly on the RT scanner, so I'm going to come over here to the RT scanner side and concentrate the rest of our time on there. Okay. So this is a real-time scanner. So we are literally updating our databases for all the different brokerage platforms on a 10 to 20 second interval time. Okay. However, if you want to continuously keep on seeing updates, you got to refresh your browser. Okay. Now, in here, I've chosen this view. Okay. So let me kind of show you some basic things. Profiles. These are basically things that you should get to know. The reason why is this is where you save your settings for whatever parameters you have set up. Okay. Suggested profiles are the ones I'm suggesting for you, and I'll go through these in just a moment with you. These, what you could do is you could click on these suggested profiles, make some changes, and then save them as your personal profiles, and this is where all my personal profiles are kept. Everyone see that? Once you have these in your personal profiles, you could click on this email setting here, and you could say, when do I want this email to be received? I want the website to scan based on the parameters I've set up and send me an email with all those opportunities. And in here, if I hold down the control key, I could say, you know what, I trade Mondays and Wednesdays only, so I want that email there. And these times are in a 24-hour format at 7 Eastern Standard Time. So I start trading at 7 o'clock. I like my signals to come all these times here, and that's it. And I click on that. What the system will do is automatically scan the entire whatever markets you told it to do in your parameters, and they'll send you an email Monday, Tuesday for every one of these times. It will automatically send you an email. Is everyone okay with that? Yes. So you could set up whatever parameters you want, and you could have the system automatically scan and send you a full-blown report to your email by just doing this. Okay, but you have to set up your personal profiles to do that. Okay, so let me unclick these in here. Okay, so now we've done that. I'm going to explain these profiles in a minute. Okay, one way to kind of start from scratch at all times, if you ever get any errors or you want to start from the very beginning, click on Reset Parameters. By clicking on Reset Parameters, this will reset everything for you to the default settings. And notice one thing. By doing that, my view down here completely changed. Okay, so let me show you what happened. So in here, everything changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the general settings, and let's say I want to look at everything from a high level. Okay, so I want to see a high level. So I'm going to turn on the heat map. The heat map does not look at one time frame, but it looks at all the different 7 time frames at one time. And then you could zone in and say, you know what? I want to see the Australian market for the heat map view. And for the international markets, we do not support 10 and 30 minutes. Reason why, they're very sporadic. That's why you have zeros here. But you could see exactly what's going on with every time frame for every instrument in the Australian market. Now you could go in and you could start filtering here, so you only see a certain amount. By not doing any filtering, we've kind of opened up the gamma here where there's a whole bunch of instruments in here that you're seeing. So you could sit there and come in here, click on currencies, and you could see exactly what's going on with the currency world by doing this too. Okay, so you could kind of see exactly what's going on with the currencies. Again, if you don't know what these numbers are, you need to go to the video tutorial and look at that, and they'll have a good explanation of all the numbers there and how they're used and all that. Okay, Now, that shows you all the different things you could choose, and you could choose all the different instrument classes in here around the world. So in the US side, we've kind of broken it down into the S&P 500, S&P 400, NASDAQ, then we have sector ETFs. This world right here are all the major world exchanges in the world, the actual exchanges, not ETFs. Okay, then you have sector ETFs, then you have different countries in here, futures, you have regular ETFs in here, so there's various things in here. Okay, you could sit there, search for a particular symbol. So I want to find everything that has Apple in there. You could put Apple in here and they'll filter on there. You could filter based on price. You could filter based on volume and so forth there. Is everyone okay with that? Now I'm going to turn off the heat map selection here, and now what happens is it shows me one time frame. I could control what time frame that chooses once I click on whatever time frames I want. Okay, so if I come in here on the 240-minute time frame and turn it on, right here, it shows me 240. I could turn on the 60-minute on here too, and notice when I turn on the 60-minute, it still shows me 240. If I want to change that view, all I have to do is come in here to the General tab, and since I have two time frames I've turned on, I could select whatever view I want. Okay? So I could keep on going there. So I could pretty much customize this to whatever you're looking for. One thing over here, if I want to change to see what I see in these columns here, all I have to do is come into this section here. I could click on these various options in here, and it'll basically change what I see in every column view. Okay. The other thing I want to mention is options here. This scans for options, where you scan for unusual calls and puts and volatility. You got to make sure that the daily time frame is on in order for that to work. The reason why is that the statistics are kept for the daily time frame, not any others. Okay, so if I come in here, I choose that, and then I make sure I go to the daily view. Now what happens is I could scan for stocks basically that have high volatility, unusual calls and put volumes and so forth. Okay, you've probably seen a lot of people talk about how Ichimoku works really well on the unusual calls and puts volume. You could do that here, and the good thing is that this you could scan for unusual calls and put volume, and then you could scan for Ichimoku strategy. So this can do all the filtering for you instead of you manually doing it yourself. Okay. Any questions up to this point? Okay, so now I'm going to get to your question in just a minute, Stephen. Getting into that now. So in the profiles here, I want to discuss these profiles real quickly and tell you kind of what each one of them are. Okay, so if you look at the profiles here, I've kind of changed the wording this week to kind of help everyone. So if you think about it, a lot of the webinars I talk about multiple time frame support resistances. The multiple time frame support resistances is basically where you're looking to see if the various time frames have the same support or the various time frames have the same resistance level. Okay, that's what the MTF stands for. So in this one here, what this does is it looks for the same support or resistance to be the same on a 240 daily and weekly. And then what it does is make sure that price is at that support resistance right now. That means you have a multiple time frame match and price is there right now. That means that's a live opportunity right now. Everyone okay with that? Yes? Forecasting means it's finding these multiple time frame support resistances, but price is not there yet. You're going to wait for it to come there. That means you got time for it to get there. That's why I put the word forecast in all these here. So this one here looks for MTF on a 240 daily, weekly. The day trading one looks for the same support resistance on a 10-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute. The long term looks for the same support resistance on the daily, weekly, monthly. Okay. Now you could click on any of these profiles here. I click on OK. And all you have to do is you could go for the tabs and you could see exactly what parameters I set up. So in the 240, if you scroll down, you could see that the 240 daily, weekly is highlighted, and nothing else is highlighted in here. Okay, I come to the daily's turned on, the weekly's turned on, but if I come down to a 60-minute, it's not turned on. So you could see all the parameters I set up by clicking on that profile and then coming in here. Now, let's say I want to change this. So I see that this is a 240-minute daily and weekly. They have the same support resistance. Okay. Now, I want to find all the bullish trades out there. So what I could do is I could turn on the strategy here and say I want everything that broke out of the cloud right here, and I want it to be specifically bullish. If you kept this to be off, you'll look for both bullish and bearish cloud strategy breakouts. I want bullish, so I'm going to click on update, and this literally is going to scan the entire globe and find everything that has the same support resistance in the 240 daily, weekly, and then it has a strategy, a cloud strategy on a 3 for the 240-minute time frame that's bullish. Okay, if you want it where you're waiting for a pivot right there, it's a cloud strategy with a pivot, you do that right there, and it shows you all these opportunities here. Everyone see that? Okay, you could turn on all these other things in here, like there's momentum here. So you could say I want momentum to be bullish too. Click on that there. If you don't know what these are, you could download the free ebook that explains all the different strategies here, or you could go for any of those videos under the workshop videos or Ichimoku under the video section. Okay, so I have that there. I could say I want the future cloud to be bullish right here, and I want to make sure that price is above the cloud, because you can't have a strategy where price is bullish but then came back in the cloud. Now, if you look, I just searched the entire globe, okay, and these are the only opportunities I came up with. And if you look, this is all the instruments it's checking: Australia, Canada, China, all that, and it only found these opportunities here. Okay, now in this MTF, we do not give you the MTF level. Okay, we don't give you that price, Stephen. Okay, you have to do that, look for that yourself. And here's how easy it is. So we selected the 240-minute time frame. Agreed? So now let's look at delta. There's DAL. So here's all I'm going to do. I'm going to select DAL, and I'm going to go to the time frame with the 240. Let me clear up everything in here. So Stephen, all you have to do is come to that time frame on the 240, and then right below price or above price, you see the red line. Put a line there, put a line at the green one, and put a line at the yellow one. Are you okay with that? So that's the Tinkinson, Cajunson, Senecal B. Okay. Now, we had the system say we want the same support on the 4-hour, daily, and weekly. So now I'm going to go to the daily, and I'm going to see which of these Ichimoku lines intersects that white dash line. There's nothing here at my current price that intersects it at all. So I'm going to delete that guy right there. There's nothing here that intersects here. I'm going to delete that guy here. There's a green line right here, so that is a same support. And then I'm going to go to the weekly and look at that there too, and boom, now I have my level there. Okay, so this is your MTF level right there. Okay, now Stephen, it's kind of hard for us to give you those levels. Reason why is that in Ichimoku, there's levels in the future, there's levels in the past. Okay, so right now what's happening is that the website is structured as of right now to look for everything that's directly at the current price, and then if it doesn't find it, it'll look in the future in the past. Okay, later on, maybe Q1 of next year, we may start publishing those levels for you too. Okay, but right now we're not, and it may be where we're publishing in a charting method for you in the future. Is that good, Stephen? So does everyone see how this worked? Yes? Okay, so that was pretty easy to do that. Now, what does all that mean? Here's what it means. Come down in here, and let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. This is a bullish cloud strategy. Your boundary condition, your multiple time frame support is right here. Okay, that means this is the boundary condition between this being bullish and this not being bullish. This is where it could be bearish and so forth. Okay, so if you want to take the lowest risk trade, you're going to put an order right here to buy. So if it pulls back to this level here, it should hold. That's your buying opportunity right here with the lowest risk. Because your risk would be a couple of points below that level, which would be here. So let's say this is your entry, there's your stop. Everyone okay with that? Yes? Now, if you decide you want to take this trade right now, this is your entry, and there's your stop. So understand the risk that you're bringing in. Everyone good? So the further away you are from the MTF, the more risk that you're adding onto this trade. If you're doing a breakout trade, that's not a problem. Okay? Reason why is this MTF will move up. But if you're doing a pullback trade, you got to put a trade right at the boundary conditions here, because this is do or die at this point. And that's your lowest risk scenario. If you put a trade here and pull them back to this green line here, your risk at that point is going to be from this green line to that stop. Your stop is not going to change. Your stop always has to be a buffer off the MTF level. But where you take that trade is going to be the big difference. Everyone good with that? Yes? Any questions so far? No? Okay. So this shows you there's an opportunity here. Okay. Now, in here, would you want to take this trade here? I personally probably wouldn't, because if you look at it here, I'm asking price to drop drastically here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and put an alert. Okay. And thinkorswim, that's how you do it here. So what's going to happen is when price gets here, I'm going to see exactly what's going on. Everyone okay with that? Now, one way to cheat you could do is that you could wait for price to get to these MTF levels on the higher time frame. And if I'm a day trader / swing trader, as soon as it gets here, I'm going to sit there and look for a bullish setup on the lower time frame. So there's multiple ways you could do this. When you find this particular MTFs, you could say, okay, off the 4-hour, daily, or weekly, I could take a trade right off this MTF support level. Everyone see that? Or what I could do is when it gets here, I'm going to go down to a lower time frame, such as a 30-minute, and see which way the trade is going to go, and at that point set up that way. If I get a 30-minute bullish setup, that means we're going to bounce off that support and go higher. If I get a 30-minute bearish setup after I got here, that means we're going to break this level to go lower. Everyone see that? So you could take these MTFs as they are, or you could use them to sit there to go down to the lower time frames and look for a confirmation to take that trade. Okay? So I understand the day traders are like, well, this is no interest for me. It is an interest for you, because when you get to those levels, all you have to do is go down to a lower time frame and it'll tell you what's going to happen at that support resistance. Okay, so if you come in here and see this profile in here where you have the daily, weekly, monthly in here, I'm going to click on that. Now, I'm definitely, my personality is not suited for taking trades off the daily time frame. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, so what I would do is I come in here, I look for a cloud breakout strategy number 4. I zone in, and let's pick an instrument in here. Let's pick, oh, I love ISRG. So let's go to ISRG. So I found that instrument there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to a 4-hour, find where my MTF levels are. There's a green line, there's a red line, there's the yellow line. Then I'm going to come to the daily. There's a yellow line matching there. None of these others are matching. There's a daily and a weekly. So now that tells me there's a multiple time frame resistance. Everyone okay with that? So now, even though I'm not going to sit there and trade off these higher time frames, and let's say I'm a 10-minute or 30-minute trader, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an alert here. And when that alert triggers, I'm then going to go to my 30-minute, and I'm going to follow my rules. So if when the alert triggers, price would be up here, and I'm going to follow my rules. If my rules, whatever my strategy is, whether it be Ichimoku, Fibonacci, Elliott wave, it doesn't matter. If my rules tell me there's a setup after it got here, that whichever way the setup is, that's the way I'm going. If the setup is bullish, that means basically it's set up to break that resistance level. If the setup that you have after you get to this level here is bearish, that means it's going to bounce off that resistance level there. So one way to use them is I'm finding MTFs on the higher time frame. As soon as price gets there, I'm looking for the next strategy that occurs on the lower time frame, and I'm triggering it that way. Or I could just take the trade off those MTF levels on the higher time frame. Everyone good? Is everyone clear on how to use these tools and translate them to trading? Or is there still some confusion? Remember, myself, I'm using this tools every day, every minute. Okay? And not only am I, all my students in university and my 1-month mentoring are using these tools every day. And the whole reason why we're doing that is that in order to be successful in reading charts, you got to be able to look at good setups and just keep on finding them. If you scan the charts and you keep on looking at bad setups, sooner or later, you're not going to be able to recognize good opportunities at all. So by using the website, what it's doing is filtering out all the bad opportunities and everything and only presenting the potential opportunities for you. And then all you have to do is execute your trading plan to see if it fits your criteria. If it does, you put the trade on. If it doesn't, you move on. Okay? Any questions? Nope. Is it clear with everyone? Hopefully these webinars are helping you guys understand how to use the tools and translate them to real life trades. We had a lot of feedback where you wanted us to do webinars and showing you how to take the tools and not talk about what they are, but how to take them and translate them into trades. Okay, and remember, I'm under assumption that you guys are already gone for all those videos that says start here, because that was in the description of the webinar when you registered for it. Okay, if there's no other more questions, we're pretty much going to wrap up then. We have a couple of minutes. Does anyone want me to look at anything? No? Oh, quiet group. Okay, that's a wrap up. Hope you guys have a good morning or good evening to some of you guys out there. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to contact us at info@eiicapital.com. Stephen had one more question. On the scanner in general, how to identify a change in status? Well, the change in status, Stephen, will be is that when, like, let's say you have an MTF you run the scan and you click on the update button and you don't see it anymore, then that pretty much means it's gone. Their alert video was a real-time video instead. There were two real-time videos. Roger, yeah, someone has already told me about that. I'm going to go check those videos today. Give me to the end of business today, and I'll straighten out those videos there. Any other questions, guys? Okay. Good luck trading. If you guys need any help, don't hesitate to ask us. Make sure you guys are monitoring us on Twitter. We are giving you daily feeds on the stock market levels, especially now with the Fed announcement coming out. A lot of people are kind of scared of what's going on. Remember, don't get scared, get prepared. Okay. Bye-bye.